In the quiet corners of a bustling city, lived a young man named Ethan. He wasn't born with a silver spoon, nor did he have any sudden stroke of luck. What Ethan possessed, however, was a seed, a small idea about money that would, over time, blossom into a future he could barely imagine. But for a good while, this seed lay dormant, waiting for the right soil. Have you ever wondered how some people, who start with seemingly nothing, manage to build real wealth? It's often not about hitting a jackpot, but about understanding a hidden force. A force so powerful, yet so simple, that it's often overlooked. Ethan was about to stumble upon this very secret. One drizzly afternoon, seeking shelter from the unexpected rain, Ethan ducked into a small, forgotten library. The kind where the air hums with untold stories. Wandering through the dusty shelves, his hand landed on a worn-out book with a captivating title, The Richest Man in Babylon. Intrigued by the promise of ancient financial wisdom, he decided to borrow it. That evening, the rhythmic drumming of the rain against his windowpane became the soundtrack to Ethan's discovery. The tales of Arkad, the wise and wealthy Babylonian, unfolded before him. Arkad spoke of a simple principle: a part of all you earn is yours to keep. He stressed the importance of not just saving, but also making that saved money work harder. And then, he unveiled the magic: compound interest. Imagine planting a tiny apple seed, the book described. With water and sunshine, it grows into a strong tree. That tree then bears many apples, each containing more seeds. Your initial savings, like that first seed, can grow and generate its own seeds, in the form of interest earned. And here's the truly remarkable part: those earnings also begin to earn. It's like your money having little money babies, and then those babies growing up and having their own money babies. Ethan, working an entry-level job with modest pay, felt a spark of understanding. He decided to test Arkad's ancient wisdom in his modern life. With his very next paycheck, he resolved to save a small portion, his very own financial seed. It wasn't a grand amount, but it was a conscious start. 4 months, Ethan diligently set aside a small percentage of his earnings. He opened a basic savings account, the kind that seemed to offer almost no return. The interest he received was so minimal, it barely registered. Doubts crept in. Was this tiny drip ever going to turn into a steady stream? Then, he recalled the patient growth of the trees in Arkad's parables. They didn't sprout into maturity overnight. They required consistent care and the passage of time. So, Ethan persevered. He automated a small transfer from his checking account to his savings every payday. He became more mindful of his spending, finding enjoyment in simple pleasures rather than unnecessary purchases. Years began to accumulate. Ethan progressed in his career, each new job bringing a slightly larger paycheck. And with each increase in income, he slightly increased his financial seed, the amount he saved, and later, cautiously began to invest in diversified, low-cost funds he researched online. Then, something truly amazing started to happen. The small amounts he had saved in those early years were now beginning to grow, not just from his ongoing contributions, but from earning interest on the interest they had already generated. That initial tiny drip was indeed turning into a noticeable flow. Ethan watched with growing excitement as his savings gained momentum, the growth becoming more significant each year. It wasn't the result of any sudden windfall or risky gamble. It was the quiet, persistent power of those initial small seeds, consistently nurtured and allowed the invaluable gift of time to work its compounding magic. Decades later, Ethan, now a respected professional looking towards retirement, reflected on his journey. He had built a fulfilling career, supported his family, and now enjoyed a sense of financial security and the freedom to pursue his passions. He wasn't the wealthiest person he knew, but he was comfortable, independent, and deeply grateful for the wisdom he'd found in that forgotten library. And it all began with a rainy afternoon, a dusty book, a simple decision to plant a small financial seed, and the incredible, often underestimated, power of compound interest. His early commitment, that consistent saving habit, had silently built a future far more abundant than he could have imagined as that young man seeking shelter from the rain. The lesson of this story. Ethan's journey powerfully illustrates the profound impact of compound interest. The key takeaway isn't the size of your initial investment, but the consistency with which you save and invest, and the earliness with which you begin. Time is the most crucial element in the equation of compounding wealth. The sooner you plant your financial seeds and allow them the time to grow and generate their own earnings, the more substantial your future financial harvest will be. Don't ever underestimate the potential of small, regular contributions made consistently over the long run. Like Ethan, you have the power to cultivate a secure and prosperous future, one small seed at a time.